Hi friends, how are you doing today? I hope you feel blessed and you're in God's presence, and if not, I hope you will be after today's reading. And if you're new here, welcome. Don't forget to like and subscribe. It really helps our channel grow. Here on His Princess, we just read a chapter a day and then we discuss it afterwards. So I'm going to go ahead and get started. We're going to be reading Proverbs chapter 6 today. My child, if you have put up security for a friend's debt or agreed to guarantee the debt of a stranger, if you have trapped yourself by your agreement and are caught by what you said, follow my advice and save yourself, for you have placed yourself at your friend's mercy. Now swallow your pride. Go and beg to have your name erased. Don't put it off, do it now. Don't rest until you do. Save yourself like a gazelle escaping from a hunter, like a bird fleeing from a net. Take a lesson from the ants, you lazy bones. Learn from their ways and become wise. Though they have no prince or governor or ruler to make them work, they labor hard all summer, gathering food for the winter. But you, lazy bones, how long will you sleep? When will you wake up? A little extra sleep, a little more slumber, a little folding of the hands to rest, then poverty will pounce on you like a bandit. Scarcity will attack you like an armed robber. What are worthless and wicked people like? They are constant liars, signaling their deceit with a wink of the eye, a nudge of the foot, or a wiggle of the fingers. Their perverted hearts plot evil, and they constantly stir up trouble. But they will be destroyed suddenly, broken in an instant beyond all hope of healing. There are 6 things the Lord hates. No, 7 things He detests. Haughty eyes, lying tongue, hands that kill the innocent, a heart that plots evil, feet that race to do wrong, a false witness who pours out lies, a person who sows discord in a family. My son, obey your father's commands, and don't neglect your mother's instruction. Keep their words always in your heart. Tie them around your neck. When you walk, their counsel will lead you. When you sleep, they will protect you. When you wake up, they will advise you. For their command is a lamp, and their instruction a light. Their corrective discipline is the way to life. It will keep you from the immoral woman, from the smooth tongue of the promiscuous woman. Don't lust for her beauty. Don't let her coy glances seduce you. For a prostitute will bring you to poverty, but sleeping with another man's wife will cost you your life. Can a man scoop a flame into his lap and not have his clothes catch on fire? Can he walk on hot coals and not blister his feet? So it is with the man who sleeps with another man's wife. He who embraces her will not go unpunished. Excuses might be found for a thief who steals because he is starving, but if he is caught, he must pay back 7 times what he stole, even if he has to sell everything in his house. But the man who commits adultery is an utter fool, for he destroys himself. He will be wounded and disgraced. His shame will never be erased. For the woman's jealous husband will be furious, and he will show no mercy when he takes revenge. He will accept no compensation, nor be satisfied with a payoff of any size. So what did you think? This was definitely interesting to me. First, let me apologize for not blessing the reading before I started. I'm still getting the hang of it. I usually remember like halfway through, and I'm like, should I keep reading or should I go back and start over? And part of me wants to like just re-record the whole thing, like just pause it, stop it, say the blessing, and then start all over. But I really want to be genuine with you and not try to put up a false image. I want to be as real as possible, because just because I'm a Christian doesn't make me perfect. I'm far from perfect. And again, I'm not a pastor or a minister. I'm just a girl who loves God, and I want to share that love with people who feel the same as I do. So, I also want to say that I'm not feeling my best today. I'm in a little bit of a sour mood at the moment, and I'm trying to, come out of it. I'm a little insecure right now. I'm used to recording at home by myself, and I have company, and that makes me very insecure. So I wanted to apologize if I seem like a little, lower energy, or if I'm not, getting as deep as I usually do. But I didn't want to not record because of that, because the devil's a liar, and he'll do stuff like that when he knows that you're on the right path. He'll try to put obstacles in your path to make you turn away. And the old me would have turned away for not wanting to feel uncomfortable at all, and being worried about what you would think if I came across different than other days. But the new me knows that God has a plan, and God loves me, and he's not going to allow these things to get in my way. So I'm going to be strong today. And my strength is coming directly from God, because if it wasn't for him, I would not be doing this right now. I'd probably be sitting on the couch crying. So, thank you for your understanding, and I'm so glad you're here. And so I'm going to kind of put the weight on you today for chapter 6. But I'll go ahead and, give you a brief description of like what I thought. So, when I first read this section, when I first read this chapter, it definitely hits on a lot of subjects. And it was contradictory towards a lot of the things that I've, learned growing up. So at the beginning it says, "My child, if you have put up security for a friend's debt or agreed to guarantee the debt of a stranger, if you have trapped yourself by your agreement and are caught by what you said, follow my advice and save yourself, for you have placed yourself at your friend's mercy." So, I've always felt like as a Christian, we should always help people in need. So if somebody comes to you and asks you for something, like, "Hey, let me get, $10 till tomorrow. I'll pay you back. I promise." Okay, here you go. But this was kind of like different than that. So I really had to like dive deeper into it and really like pray on it and try to get some more feedback to it. And what I see more is like, and this is dealing a situation that I'm going through currently. So I feel like when it says in verse 2, you have trapped yourself, because you really are held down by and at your friend's mercy when you loan them money, especially if you're the type of person that lives paycheck to paycheck, or is not in a position to really be loaning out money, but you're having faith in God to take care of you even if they don't pay you back. So, I really am struggling with these verses, because to me it's kind of saying, don't loan anybody money, or don't co-sign on anybody's debt. Don't guarantee the debt of anyone, a friend or a stranger. And I think that a lot of it is just to create peace, because when somebody owes you money, or you're expecting money from somebody, it automatically creates tension in the relationship, and until that is taken care of. And so I'm really interested to see what you think about these verses, how you feel about it. Definitely, leave your feelings in the comments below. Save yourself. Like, that's really, all these things are really strong wording. Like, you have trapped yourself, save yourself, you're at your friend's mercy, beg to have your name erased. So, but I can definitely understand why, having been in that situation before. So knowing how it made me feel to always have to question somebody or look to somebody or ask somebody like, hey, can you, are you going to be able to pay me back? Are you going to be able to take care of this? Like always having to wonder and never knowing, like that can create like turmoil and problems. But on the other side of it, it's like, well, shouldn't I be confident that God's going to take care of it regardless? And then that's kind of where it gets kind of muddy, because God's going to take care of you. He's going to make sure you're okay. But that doesn't mean he's not going to let anything bad ever happen to you. So that doesn't mean that you'll never live on the street. You'll never be homeless. You'll never be sick. It doesn't mean any of that. So, with that being said, you have that, knowledge. But then, it's like, well, shouldn't, they say give and give and give. But I guess it's more talking about who are you giving to? Like, so I think that at the time this was written is also important to take into consideration, because at that time they wanted everyone to tithe, donate, and then the church would then help people. People come to the church to ask for help when they needed it, and then the church, managed that piece of it. And that's keeping relationships between people more even, because the minute somebody doesn't pay you back or doesn't pay you what they owe you, it's always problems. So, and that's when you have to decide as a Christian, okay, so, turn the other cheek. But so I'm very interested to see what y'all thought about with that. Verses 1 through 5. Verses 6 through 11. To me, it kind of like I lumped it together. And I really think it's focusing on working hard. And this is something that I feel like I should have known my whole life. My mother was a single mom. She worked 2 jobs. Always. Like, I never known her not to work. She got off one job and may or may not have came home and ate and then left right back out. And then by the time she came back, it was bedtime. So, to me, I shouldn't be a stranger to hard work, but I'm of the mind that you shouldn't have to work that hard. And so I had to, again, reread this, because it's not just talking about like working your 9-to-5 job or the job that pays your bills. So it's talking about what are you doing with your time in general. So it's talking about people who don't do anything all day. Like, it's saying that if all you do is take rest, then you really won't have anything. And I think that's kind of evident in people's mindset. So when, you're spending the majority of your time like not doing anything productive, then your results, like I read a quote one day and it says, you get the results that you deserve. So what are you doing to get what you're asking for? Are you putting in that work? And so it can be 1,000 things. So like for me, I'm going to go personally with me in my life. So some of the things that I want to work on are my health. So I really want to eat healthier, involve more movement in my life, because again, this is the temple, the house, and I want to take good care of it because for the glory of God. I went through something last night where I was looking, it was a Bible study, and it was like asking, like, what can you do to be a good ambassador for Christ? And I'm thinking, like, what makes you a good Christian? Like, what are the things that when somebody else is witnessing would make them say, I want what she's got? And so, immediately I thought about my attitude. So I really want to have a more Christ-like attitude, which is it's a struggle. It's a struggle. And I think the big part of that for me is going to be getting what I can control under my control. So if I can do that, then my mental health issues, I feel like won't be such a big deal. But I'm definitely going to be working on that big time, my attitude, and not just the outward portrayal. So it's easy to put on a mask, like at work, for instance. You'll be nice to someone just because you have to and because you work with them, and that's what you can't get in an argument with somebody that you work with and have to see them every day. It doesn't work like that. So to me, I put on a mask, and I definitely hold my tongue a lot. I don't say how I feel about things, and sometimes I compromise in a lot of areas where personally I wouldn't want to. I struggle a lot, and now thinking back on it, I want to not just have that mask. I want my mental to be, what I think and what I say to be in harmony. So, and I say that a lot, but I want it to be in harmony in a positive place, because sometimes it's in harmony in a bad place. So I'm thinking bad and I'm talking bad. I don't want that. So be careful what you ask for. So, be specific. So I have to really adjust that to say, I want to think and speak positively. I want to think and speak Christ-like. I want, when people see me, I want them to see Christ through me. I want them to see my relationship with God. Sometimes I look at people and I'm like, I know she's a Christian just by the way they're acting. They've got to be a Christian. And so I want people to see that. And so attitude, and not just mental, but also outwardly appearance. I want it to be in harmony. And then I thought about health. I want to be healthy. So I want people to see that this is my temple. This is what I use to praise God. I use my mouth. I use my, my heart, my ears. This is my temple. So I want to make sure that I'm healthy and I'm taking care of the gift that God gave me. And then cleanliness, hygiene, all those types of things. If you kind of go through the Bible and read, they're always talking about hygiene and cultural things that are scattered throughout the Bible. Washing feet and making sure somebody is prepared to eat, and those types of things. So that all leads to cleanliness, and just again taking care of what God has blessed you with. So for instance, your home, God has blessed you with a roof over your head, so you want to do everything that you can to take really good care of that gift. And that to me shows respect for what God has given you, and also opens the door for more things to come because you're taking good care of it. So God will say, hey, she's really taking care of that. Let me upgrade her. So then wealth. So, that term can be used a bunch of different ways. So I'm definitely talking about my financial wealth. Again, what God blesses me with, I want to be able to take good care of. And that means not spending money frivolously, not wasting money, and not being gluttonous. So, all those things in general, being giving, and working to build that. So that when people look at me, and if I'm successful and people look at me and say, man, she's successful, she has this, she has that, all that, God gave her all that. God did that for her. I want a God that'll do that for me, So that's what I really am striving for, because I want that to be a part of my story. So I'm working hard to try to accomplish those things. And not all of that is, whether I might say I'll work out for a week and don't see any results. So I'm not seeing any results, but that doesn't mean that I'm just going to stop. So now I'm trying to like change that mindset. Like, okay, I'm not just going to stop when I don't see results, because it's not just about the result. It's about the action. So I'm showing God that, hey, I'm willing to work hard for this. I'm willing to do what I need to do. And I think that is a big point in verse 6 through 11, that you're working hard and you're not just sleeping away this time that God has given you to do things with your life. Now, I'm not saying never rest or never take a break, or if you're not feeling well, not to like take a day off. I have a lot of mental health issues going on, and some days I just can't. I can't do anything but sit and stare at the TV, and sometimes I can't even do that. So I'm not saying that you're not going to have days like that. I'm just saying, like, God has given you this time. So start to really try to think about how you're using this time. And see, me, I'm spending a lot of time on my YouTube channel, on my relationship with God. And then, I want to add in, spending more time on my health, like with exercise and that sort of thing. I spend a lot of time trying to like clean. So I'm trying to get more balance in my life. And I think this is huge, like takeaway from this verse, because it's easy to like read this fast and just be like, okay, don't be lazy, which is pretty much what it's saying. But it's easy to think that it's talking about working. So like just like a regular job working. But it's talking about working towards the goals in your life, period. So it's really, pulling out, have goals and work towards them. Don't just sit around and dream about it all day. Like, what have you done today to get you closer to where you want to be? And I think that's the $1 million question. And if every day you can say, I did something to get me closer to where I want to be, then you're going to succeed. There's no way you're not. So, for instance, if you want to start a business, every day are you listening to, a podcast or a YouTube video with somebody talking about, industry news? Are you paying attention to what's going on in that industry? Are you like trying to find, like, say are you trying to look into different softwares to get for the company to use? Are you working on your logo? Are you making sure you have a business plan together? Or are you just dreaming? So, it's God's really trying to say, like, hey, I want to give you these things, but I don't want you to be lazy. Like, I want you to do stuff. And because I know you've all heard the saying, like, idle hands is the devil's workshop. And it's true. Like, when you sit there and don't have any purpose, then the devil can come in and he's going to just have a field day with your mind, because it's not focused on anything else. And when you don't have that purpose or that drive, it allows you to stay in a depressed state way longer than you should, because you don't have anything to focus on. And when God's trying to keep you on a straight path, it's so much easier for him to do that when you have something that you're headed towards. So he can take you down that road and say, okay, this is what you want. All right, I got you. Here you go. These are the things. These are the things. But if you don't have any drive, if you don't have any focus, and you're just sitting around dreaming like, oh yeah, this thing's good, this thing's good, this thing's good, like, then you're just all over the place. And you go down this road for a second, you'll go down that road for the second, you'll go down that road for a second, and then when you figure out, like, why am I not getting anywhere? Why am I staying stuck right here? It's because you don't have any focus. You don't have purpose. Like, I started to read The Purpose-Driven Life, and I got focused way too much on what is my purpose. Like, feeling like I should have this divine intervention where someone says, this is what you're supposed to do, and this is what you're meant to do. But to me, like, it's more about, like, what do you want to do? Like, what brings you joy? Like, what makes you want to get up in the morning? Like, what makes you feel good? Whatever that is, figure out how you can do that legally and get paid for it. And just fight for it. Because if there's a will, there's a way. And if you really want it, you can have it. It may take work, research, time, have patience, and it'll come. But you got to figure out, what is it that makes you happy? What brings you joy? And then you got to do what you got to do. And I know you can do it because you've got God. And God's going to make it happen for you. You just got to stay focused, don't drift, and just do what he asks of you. And he'll get you there. He's saying, I want you to do this. And you're saying, but God, I'm trying to get here. And he said, but I want you to do this. This is on the way. He's trying to tell you, like, this is on the way to there. Like, do this first, and then you'll get there. Like, he promises you a wonderful and an amazing life if you'll just spend time with him. Like, is that too much to ask? Because I know when I get in a relationship with somebody, I want them to want to spend time with me. I want them to want to do things with me. And if they're not, I'm like, why am I wasting my time on you? So, is it so hard to believe that God wants that for us too? And that if we actually spend time with him, then he has the opportunity, then we're opening the door for him to say, hey, this is what you should do. Or you're opening the door for him to say, hey, is that what you really want? Well, hey, I got a plan for us. Like, I got a plan. And you don't have to understand his plan, but trust and believe God created everything. So I think I would trust his plan way better than mine. Like, whatever he thinks of is going to be better than what I think of. So anyway, let me stop rambling and we'll move on from the hard work part. So work hard. So then verses 12 through 15 talk about lying. I pretty much got that. Like, don't lie. That was my recap for that section. It's like, what are worthless and wicked people like? They are constant liars, signaling their deceit with a wink of an eye, a nudge of the foot, or a wiggle of the finger. Their perverted hearts plot evil, and they constantly stir up trouble, but they will be destroyed suddenly, broken in an instant beyond all hope of healing. I love this part. I do. I love it because it gives me hope that God's going to make sure that all the people that are just wicked and lying, I don't have to worry about them, because right here it tells me what's going to happen. Like, I already know what's going to happen. I don't even need to worry about it. I don't need to do anything to you. I don't need to have no revenge. I can love you just the same. But I know what's going to happen to you. Like, I know what doing this and acting like that gets you. So don't lie. Don't lie. And so it's something also that I'm working on. Let me stop trying to act like this is like brand new. I'm not brand new to this, because I am. So I used to lie all the time. To me, I didn't see it as a bad thing. I felt like I was doing people a favor by lying to them, because I was telling them what they wanted to hear, and that made their life better because they didn't have to be stressed out about the real truth, right? But in all actuality, not only am I hurting them, but I'm hurting me too, because I'm going to end up being broken beyond all hope of healing. That's deep. That's deep. Broken beyond all hope of healing. You don't even got hope. You can't even hope to heal. You can't even hope that it'll get better. And that's serious. That's the stuff that don't, have you calling the suicide hotline. So, but on the other side, that person, even though you might hurt them, or they might not like what you say, they're going to be better off knowing the truth, because then every other action or decision that they make following that will be in their better interest than if it's with a lie. So while you think when you lie to somebody doing the right thing, you're not. Like, even if you think you're doing it for their benefit. Like, I'm trying not even to tell people that I like their outfit if I don't really like it, just to try to boost somebody's feeling. Like, I don't want to lie to people about how I'm feeling or what's going on in my life anymore, just because I don't want them in my business. I'm trying to really, like I said, focus on and be mindful of the things that I say and do, because I'm trying to stay on God's path, because I know it's the only one for me. So then I thought this is a really good chapter. This is really good. So then it gets into the 7 things the Lord hates. And this I thought was really interesting, because a lot of times when you see God and you think about God, you're always like, you don't associate negative things with him. Like, God hates, he gets angry. God can be mean sometimes. He can be downright mean, but he forgives. And then after he forgives, he blesses. His blessings are overflowing. If we continue to live and follow his path. So I just find it like really encouraging to know that he can have negative sides too. Like, I don't have to think of God as like he never gets mad, he never gets angry. Like, God's perfect, but in our terms, he's not perfect, like, for him to get mad. So to me, that gives me the ability to say it's okay to get mad sometimes. It's okay to hate things. It's okay for me to feel a certain way about things, because God does too. And I'm trying to model myself after him. So you can hate things, you cannot like things, but remember to forgive. So the things that he hates are haughty eyes, the lying tongue, hands that kill the innocent, hearts that plot evil, feet that race to do wrong, false witness who pours out lies, and a person who sows discord in a family. So these go to me side by side with like the 10 Commandments, things that you just definitely should not do. So then, like verse 20 and 21, obey your father's commands, don't neglect your mother's instructions. Same thing. Keep their words always in your heart, and tie them around your neck. So to me, this is similar as just keeping God's commands and his instructions for me. Then I guess verse 24 through 35, that whole part really to me was talking about don't cheat. So like, I'm not going to kind of like go into line by line detail. It's just basically like, can a man scoop a flame into his lap and not have his clothes catch on fire? Like, can he walk on hot coals and not blister his feet? So this is where it's talking avoid women. Like, it's basically saying men should not be around other women if they don't want these things to happen, because it's going to happen. So, and I kind of feel the same way, like opposite men, women. So I know I'm probably going to get a lot of comments about that below, but talk to me. You don't have to agree with me. I want to hear it. Maybe I'm thinking about it wrong. But that's kind of like what I'm getting that he's saying. Like, avoid her at all costs. And then basically, like, there's no getting past that. Like, excuses might be found for a thief, like who steals for the starving. But there's no excuse for cheating. Like, no excuse. So that's pretty much like what I got out of that piece of it. So that's pretty much Proverbs 6. I feel like I did a lot of rambling, so sorry if that bothered you. Sorry if I kind of like went off, but I hope you enjoyed it overall, and I can't wait to read your comments below because the discussion, the community is what we're here for. So stay blessed and stay in God's presence until I see you tomorrow. Have a great day.